Paranormal Punches is part of the Podbelly Network. Go to podbelly.com for more great podcasts.
Hey y'all, this is Frank the Bigfoot, and you're listening to the Paranormal Puncher.
Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Paranormal Punchers. I'm Mark.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Nash.
I'm Dave.
And on this episode, we're going to talk about the Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago. Should be a fun, interesting topic. You guys ready to jump into this?
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go.
All right.
Bam.
Okay. So what happens when you build a park over 12,000 buried bodies that have a tendency to get dug up with other projects?
Survey says it becomes haunted.
Yeah. How about when there's a suicide bridge located next to you that has claimed the lives of 100 people?
Yeah, that'd be the second.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Or a massive city fire that occurred here that burned for 3 days and claimed 300 lives. You get the Lincoln Park Zoo.
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't know. It sounds safe to me.
Yeah.
It's got like the all the makings of the perfect paranormal storm.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Now, to give you some backstory on the zoo itself, it is a 35-acre zoo located at 2001 North Clark Street in Chicago. It was founded in 1868, which makes it the fourth oldest zoo in North America.
The zoo was built then, but the burial was.
Oh, that was before, and I will get to that.
Okay.
But
Okay. I didn't know if they opened the zoo. You know, I mean, I've done a little
No.
homework, but it was like they opened the zoo, maybe closed it down, buried some people, reopened it.
No.
I don't
As
know.
one does.
Yeah, as you do, you know.
Now, it is open all year round, 365 days a year, and it is also one of the few zoos that have free admission. Now, it has around 1,100 animals, ranging from 200 species, and includes big cats, polar bears, reptiles, monkeys, you know, the usual.
Zoo stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, I do have a fun little story. In 1884, they purchased a bear cub from the Philly Zoo for $10. Now,
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Dave, are you doing the
Yes.
conversion rate? Okay.
okay. Apparently the bear became very good at escaping from the zoo and would frequently be found roaming Lincoln Park at night.
So, do you have the bear's name?
No, I don't have the bear's name.
Oh, come on.
I know.
The bear who can get out of any trap in the zoo and is notorious for it? The hint that I'm going to give is, hey, boo-boo.
Oh, God.
Come on.
I had a feeling you were going
He is
there.
a clever bear.
He is.
It's about $282 today.
Jeez.
Wow.
So it's still cheap.
Yeah, that's super cheap.
He was looking for the picnic baskets.
So it would just wander around the park at night.
Yeah. So I imagine people would like run into it and be like, holy crap.
Holy
it's a
crap, I
bear.
had too much to drink.
Right. Now, I think Mark, you were talking about there was some other fun animal
Oh, yeah, I
stories.
got all fun facts here
Yeah.
that I'll pepper in as we go. But if you like one,
Yeah.
speaking of animals that escape, maybe the animals are either A, wicked smart, or the security at this zoo is very...
Right.
But this goes back to November 16th of 1903. Big Ben escapes to Lake Michigan. So a 600-pound male sea lion that they called Big Ben, he escaped. He scaled, it was only like a 3-foot iron fence. I assume they thought that's all it would take to keep this, 600-pound sea lion. But no, he scaled over that sucker.
Wow.
And headed to Lake Michigan. But it does end sad. They put out a reward, $25 reward for him. People were looking for him. They eventually found the body 15 miles from St. Joseph's in Michigan.
In the water or just on the ground trying to get to the water?
Just says,
Just
Yeah.
found it in St. Joseph's.
yep.
Wow.
That is sad.
Well, you got to keep up your body weight. 600 pounds, sea lion, I imagine they don't go very fast.
No.
That and climbing over a fence is no small feat. But it's literally a direct line from the zoo over the lagoon to the lakefront into the lake. Like it's
Yeah.
not
Oh,
far. So
okay.
he must have just gotten disoriented and gone the wrong direction. Or something.
Aw.
Well, they might not have compasses.
Now,
I mean, that would be terrifying, too, if you're walking around and a 600 pound
And a freaking sea lion showed up?
comes up at you.
oh my God.
Like, I'm like,
All he's doing is asking, which way to the lake?
Which way?
I'd be like, this is my worst nightmare.
Right. Now, the zoo is actually located where there once was a cemetery. The Chicago City Cemetery was open from 1843 to 1859, and it held the remains of more than 35,000 people.
People are just dying to get in.
They had to close it because it was too close to Lake Michigan. So burying bodies in loose, sandy soil so close to the lake meant that some of these corpses, they weren't going to stay buried for very long.
Wasn't the lake also primary water source
Yes, the
for
water
the city?
source. It was about
Yeah.
contaminating the water.
Oh, yeah. It also was an expensive, complicated process to get somebody buried there. You had to buy the plot of land and then get the deed. So it was timely and expensive. So many people, they just kind of bypassed the process by going out with their own shovel.
My
As one
God.
does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hundreds of people were buried there illegally in unmarked graves. And of course, they wouldn't be found until the official diggers would come over and start digging to bury somebody else and find a body already there.
Wow.
Right.
That would be a tough day at work.
Yeah.
I guess on like the first couple of times, if you're a new guy on the job, and you start digging away and you're like, all right, let's get to work. It's going to be a great day.
Right.
Going to dig some plots. And you start digging and you just, you take the shovel down and you crank and you hit the casket. I imagine.
Well,
I
I
don't-
assume there's no casket
there's
there.
no-
Well,
Right.
that was my question: is if it was a casket, or if it's not a clank, or if it's a squish
No.
because you just
Right.
went into somebody.
Yeah, I think they were just burying bodies, not putting them in anything. But
Man, that'd be a crappy day.
Unless
now,
you were a serial killer or otherwise.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
So like a Frankenstein situation.
Yeah. Grave robber.
I wonder if some of the bodies buried had nothing to do with the natural deaths. Maybe they got
maybe.
Yeah.
a hit.
No one suspects a dead body in a cemetery that's not supposed to be there.
That's right. Good thinking, Dave. Maybe I should scoot my chair away.
Note: Dave's been thinking a lot about this.
We need no more Christmas gifts for Dave and his family.
Now, in one article online that I read, they started moving the bodies to a new location until October 8th, 1871, which was the night of the Great Chicago Fire. Now, after the fire, many days later, and cleanup and everything, they actually went back to continue the process, but they couldn't find where the bodies were.
Whoa, back up. So, okay, hold on. So, wait. So they're digging up the bodies.
Yeah.
Okay. But they're not moving the bodies. Are they just digging them up and like putting them over?
They didn't.
Like, put them on that hill over there and we'll get them tomorrow?
The article wasn't very specific because I had a lot of questions about this as well. Because I was like, were you moving bodies, but then you put the bodies somewhere and then came back and they weren't there anymore?
They weren't there.
Man, that dude, when he had to go tell his boss, like, look, I lost a whole bunch of dead bodies.
Right.
I swear, they were right here last night.
Yeah. Now, I did find another article where they apparently passed an ordinance saying that the families of the deceased, not the city, were responsible for moving the body somewhere else because they were
wow.
closing the cemetery.
That's
Many,
wicked.
I know, many didn't have the funds, which explains why there are most likely 12,000 bodies still buried in Lincoln Park.
Wow.
But
I was still wondering, where are the bodies that were exhumed? Where do they go?
there are other cemeteries, I think, outside of the city limits. And I think they were trying to move them
Yeah.
to those. But
I would think that you would. Well, I guess you would just do all the labor on one day and ship the next. I guess. I don't know. I just the logistics
Yeah.
behind that.
I know.
You know the
I'm
supply
just-
chain management on
Yeah,
it?
yeah, I really do. I really do. What happened there?
yeah.
Well, this was before automobiles and backhoes and all that stuff. This
Well, they had
was-
horses and wagons. And
yeah,
they
but
could.
still, yeah.
I guess because it would take quite a while to dig them up, and then you got to put them somewhere, so you couldn't just one wagon at a time or something.
But you have to be careful because you got to keep identification the whole way through. If they were identified beforehand, you got to keep that identification going through.
Right.
You know, John Smith has to be John Smith when he's reburied.
Right. Right.
So
Well, I'm just thinking that. Well,
You just don't throw them all on a wagon. And
well,
say, yeah.
well, you would just
Right.
scrawl something on the side of them, or get like one of those
A
label
toe tag.
makers. Label maker the
the femur?
Yeah, the femur. Oh my god, that's terrible. You throw them on a truck and then they get there, but once they go back in the ground at the new place, how would you know if it was something wrong?
I don't know.
Right? If they got mixed up with the shipment.
Well, but maybe I'm wrong here, and I probably did enough research towards this. I didn't expect to go this way. But this was an actual cemetery, right? So there was
Yeah.
like gravestones. Like,
Oh, yeah.
If you were Joe Smith, you had a granite gravestone that said Joe Smith on it,
Right.
And so that would go with you the whole way. Like,
I really need to know about the logistics of this whole process. This is
Well,
really
it already sounds like it was kind of a slipshot operation.
Oh, yeah.
If they
It was a cluster.
missing bodies the next day. And,
yeah.
like what Mo and Curly and Larry, they were they were the guys.
and the families that couldn't afford it, they just said,
Right.
oh, well, and left bodies there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, we can't afford to move them,
Right.
but we already had to buy the plot.
Right. They had
So,
to
Right.
pay for that. They had to get
Yeah.
a deed.
yeah.
And the city comes in and says,
Right.
Sorry. Now, obviously, there's still bodies there. And there have been times when they're doing different projects and they actually find more bodies. In 1962, a zoo barn was being built for the farm animals, and to also showcase like different farming demonstrations and stuff like that. And they found a body when they started digging. Now, the zoo director, Dr. Lester Fisher, he tried to get officials to give him direction on what to do, but they had little to no response from them. So they put the body back and they built the barn over it. So,
As one does.
yeah.
this whole operation.
Yeah.
Now, was that the body? I saw an image of a body in a coffin, but it was like hermetically sealed.
Yes. Well, that was the next one I'm going to come to.
Oh, I was leading you to
I
it, you know.
In 1998, 81 bodies were unearthed for a parking lot project. 81. Including one that was inside a Fisk iron burial casket.
Wow.
And I saw the picture of it. I was like, wow, this is crazy. It's a body-shaped coffin. It's hermetically sealed, so there's no decomposition. And they have a window so you can see the body's face,
So you can do like the blowfish right on the window.
which I
When you go to like a window, like a sliding glass door, and you put your face on the window and you go like that.
Yeah, but to a dead body?
Well, maybe he was trying to do it back.
That's why it was
That's why-
sealed
that's
that
why
way.
it was hermetically sealed.
Right,
Yeah.
to keep it from coming back out of there.
right.
And actually, I actually saw that when I was looking at the coffin, it reminded me of the coffins from the second Star Trek movie, the new from the Kelvin universe with Khan, because those bodies are in like.
Right.
Do you know what I'm talking?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like you can see their faces. Maybe they took the design, the concept from there, because they're almost like tubular shaped, body sized, and they all have the windows right on the face. They're all cryogenically
Yeah,
frozen.
maybe. Yeah, maybe Star Trek got it from the cemetery.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Just an idea. I saw that and I was like, this is way too similar.
Right.
Now, what
Well,
if
if you look in the glass and it's Khan, I don't think you want to do your blowfish to the window. Ricardo Montalban will get you.
What do you think of the reason they put the windows in there is so that the spirit could still see out and see what was going on around them.
Oh.
And that way they didn't need to leave the coffin to go haunt things. They
Well-
basically could stay there and just be like,
Well,
okay,
but-
I know what's going on.
Then they get buried.
They're under
So
6-8 feet of dirt.
Yeah.
I guess. But why else?
It's not much of a view.
I
else put a window in?
I don't
That was
understand
my
why there's a
question,
window.
too.
Yeah.
I think the only reason to see the window is so that when you took the body out, like the next of kin could recognize it while the body is in the coffin.
I was thinking
Right.
maybe as they buried it was the last chance for the family to be able to see
True.
the face of their loved ones
Yeah.
as it's lowering into the hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would
Maybe.
be disturbing for me watching.
I would think it
Especially if
would
the
be
eyes
highly-
opened at the last minute.
Right? Anyway, because
You brought it up.
I know. Because of the fact that bodies have been left here and built over top of, there are some haunted situations that happen in this zoo and the park itself too. Like it's literally the whole area. Now, the hauntings, like I said, it's all throughout the zoo. People have witnessed flickering lights and had doors slam shut on their own. They have heard phantom footsteps behind you or whatever, following you through the zoo. There have been a lot of photo anomalies. Like, so people would be taking pictures of the animals. And when they look at their pictures later, they realize that it's been photobombed with strange fogs, orbs, lights, streaks, and there are some full body apparitions that have been captured.
I think that would be like one of the pastimes if you're a past and you're a ghost.
Right.
Because I would imagine it takes a lot of effort to be seen, just like an apparition at some time.
Right.
But you could photobomb all the time. I would think that would be like, what are you doing today? I'm going to photobomb 25 different people today. This is
Right.
what I'm going to do.
Now.
Yeah.
Disembodied voices and various EVPs have been captured here. There is an EVP recording of what sounds like a lion's roar, obviously not being picked up when they're near the lion den or whatever. But
Ooh, ghost cats.
I know. I got excited when I saw that. I was like, yes. I want there to be ghost cats.
I mean, these are lions. It's
I
a
know.
little bit different.
Yeah, true story. A parapsychologist, she was doing, an investigation, and she stated that she was there to study and learn more about them. And a voice with an Australian accent said, "Who cares?"
This is a knife.
Right.
Was that your Australian accent?
that was my Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of like animal ghosts, I feel like I got another story, true fact about the zoo. If,
Do it.
let me tell you the story because this animal has the right to come back and kick some people's ass. So this happened on July 28th, 1942. There was this elephant that was gifted to the zoo by the Chicago Boy Scouts. They
Wow. What? That makes no sense at all.
No. They collected pennies to buy this elephant and then donated it to the zoo.
Wow.
Okay.
So it was the
Boy
second.
Scouts.
It was the second elephant at the zoo. She had to be put down. She lost like 1,000 pounds, so they had to put her down. She was wicked sick.
Wow.
And then the autopsy, they found a bunch of garbage in her stomach. So people were coming by and feeding this elephant bottle caps, other plastic items, and it obviously the elephant couldn't digest it,
Right.
and it died from it.
Oh my gosh.
Right. So that elephant should come back and stampede a few people.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it would it starved because it couldn't digest it. And there was
Right.
no room in the stomach
It
for
was
actual food.
like bottle caps, glass. They found glass.
my God.
It's pretty horrible.
That's terrible.
Rubber balls. So, yeah.
Jeez.
Wow, that's terrible.
People are terrible.
Yeah. A really weird thing that they have captured. Dr. Lester's voice has been caught on EVPs near the primate exhibit. He's still alive.
Yeah, he's still around.
So, not really sure what that is.
So
that
it's not an
they're-
EVP? They just caught him talking in the background?
No, he's not there, but they're getting EVPs of his voice.
Almost like echoes of the past?
He's still alive.
But he's still alive. That's
I
But he was in the
weird.
building, so maybe...
Maybe.
Echoes of the past. or-
Echoes of the past.
I'm thinking doppelganger.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying. So a doppelganger was kind of like, hey, you're Dr. Fisher. I'm
Right.
gonna, I want to sit and throw poop at these chimpanzees and apes and whatnot, they're going to throw poop back.
Right.
So it'll be here.
Do you have facts that Dr. Fisher liked to throw his poop at chimpanzees?
I'm just thinking
Or did you just make that up?
I'm just thinking that's what I would do in that situation.
Well, probably won't get past the employment application. With that.
It's down on the bottom. It's the extracurricular activities down on the bottom.
How do you solve a chimpanzee problem? A, throw poop. B, don't throw poop.
Oh boy.
We'll pick A every time.
Now, there is a floating pocket of negative energy that makes people physically sick. It's been encountered in various locations all over the park, so it's moving.
A big ball of evil.
Yeah, a ball of evil. Yes, that is good. Many have seen apparitions wearing Victorian-era clothing, just wandering throughout the park. They appear out of nowhere and then disappear just as quickly. One of these apparitions is a woman in a white gown. She is spotted either in or near the lion house and doesn't seem to notice other visitors. Now, this same ghost is seen in the ladies' room near the lion exhibit as well. People will be looking in the mirror and see her reflection behind them, but when they turn around to see who this is, she either is not there or disappears in front of them. So she's peeping on people in the bathroom.
Because somebody saw her. She was a little embarrassed. She was in the restroom. She was like, oh, my gosh. So she took off.
Oh, boy.
I get you.
Okay.
Now, the last thing I'll bring up, unfortunately, there's no animal ghosts that have been spotted yet.
Wow.
I know. Which makes me sad.
But how many false positive or false negatives? Whichever what I'm trying to say. I mean, you just see an animal, you would think that you're in a zoo.
Right. If people were spotting the lady in the Victorian era clothing,
right,
they think that's a cute lion over there,
yeah.
but it's a ghost lion.
Yeah, I mean, you see a Tasmanian tiger, they're extinct, of course. Dodo, they're extinct. You're going to say, okay, that's not right. But
you see a second one of like 18 penguins.
Right.
You're going to be like, oh,
yeah.
You're not even thinking about it.
Right.
So what I'm thinking is what you're saying is carry around a small sack of pebbles.
I don't think that's what Dave was saying at all.
So that when you see the animals, you throw one of your small, teeny tiny little pebbles at it. That way you know if it hits, it's a real animal.
And this is, again, why you will not get hired by the
I've learned, not through actual experience, but through others' actual experience, that you don't throw stones at real animals or ghost animals.
Mm-mm.
Well, I mean, I would go maybe with a Nerf gun then. I mean, you could have a lot of those little Nerf darts. They don't hurt anything.
Right.
No, unless the animal eats them.
That's why I wouldn't use Nerf, and I would go with small pebbles.
Wow.
Because it just falls on the ground and there's pebbles down there. I mean, just saying.
I know there's an animal somewhere in a zoo still thinking about the day when it gets out to maul you.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Remind me never to go to the zoo.
Zoo
with that.
Hey, we should all go to the zoo. Come on. Who wants to go to the zoo?
I'll be arrested throwing poop and rocks.
Oh, boy. Ugh.
I got a truck bed full of rocks. Let's go.
The three of us can run faster than Nash, right? I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's the key. Whatever we go to the zoo, we just have to make sure we're faster.
You just have to run faster.
Well, my fear would be that we have a couple beers and he talks us into throwing rocks and poop,
right?
And we go along with it.
Yeah.
That's my biggest fear. And then Lisha has to bail all of us out.
Now,
That's never happened.
there are some that believe that the paranormal activity in the park isn't just related to the dead bodies still on the ground. There used to be a bridge, which, Dave, I know you want to talk about this.
Right. So this bridge was originally called the High Bridge.
Very creative name.
Yeah. Well, it got even more creative.
Yeah.
So I'm going to paint you a mental picture here, theater of the mind. So if you're looking from the west, you have the city of Chicago coming into the zoo, and then the zoo butts up against a very long water body called the lagoon, and then you had the lakefront property that then butted up against Lake Michigan to the east. Okay.
Okay.
And this high bridge extended from the zoo over the lagoon to the lakefront. In modern day, there's a highway that actually spans there, expressway, whatever. So this land is unusable. But at the time, this was built in 1892 or 1894. I saw conflicting reports. The lakefront property was, still prime. You go up and hang out at the lake, and this bridge was 4 stories high, walking from the zoo's parking lot over the lagoon onto the lakefront property, and you had Lake Michigan there. So there was a lot of people. And it was 4 stories high to allow sailboats to go underneath.
Sure.
Schooners.
Yeah. Maybe not. This is the lagoon, not the lake. So
Sailboat.
Yeah.
Mall rats. Schooner.
Okay.
Someone out there got it.
Yeah.
2 people out there.
So there
went,
was a spectacular view of both the lake and the lagoon. So people, flocked to this. Unfortunately, at 4 stories high, it attracted a second crowd. People who may not have been wanting to continue their lives. And so there were a lot of reports, hundreds of people who were either jumping to their death or hanging themselves from the bridge.
Jeez.
So this got to the name High Bridge was actually changed, not officially, but it became known as Suicide Bridge. There was even postcards printed.
I saw that there actually it was well known enough to create postcards.
Yes. Yep. And the
postcard said
Suicide
from
Bridge.
Suicide Bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh,
I know.
little-
So it was definitely a macabre postcard. Let's see. So in 1916, there was an amateur movie that was filmed with a chase scene across the bridge, and the actors were supposed to fall from the bridge at the end of this chase. Well, they had a stuntman that they hired to do this, and he looked down and he's like, "Nope, we're not going to do this." The actors decided to do it on their own.
What year was this?
1916.
Okay.
And the actors actually survived. So this is one of those that a lot of people were throwing themselves off this 40-foot bridge.
Wow.
But that it was possible to survive, which means how many people did this and survived, but then drowned?
Right.
Yeah.
People actually died versus survived.
Right, yep. And
All right, so wait. So these 2 actors, when the stuntman says hell no,
right. He's like, it's too shallow.
They're
down
like,
there. We're not jumping into I'm not jumping into that.
they're like, oh, we got it. We'll Tom Cruise this.
Right, yes. Yeah.
Well, they had beer back then.
Not enough.
They probably had booze.
For a few more years.
Yeah.
So that one, actually, while I was reading that story, I honestly thought it was going to take, the actors died and now they're haunting it. No,
Right.
it's just that the actors survived, but it actually, it extends the horror of this bridge that it's not a guaranteed death. So these people that were throwing themselves off, it could have been a very painful experience.
Yeah.
Because when you said 40 feet, I thought 4 stories is really, really high. But I thought, well, 40 feet, that's like cliff jumping.
As long as you know what you're doing and you have depth in the water to go into.
Yeah, and I don't know how deep the lagoon is,
Right.
but I was like,
And that's the thing. This is the lagoon. This is not Lake Michigan.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So around that time, 1916, they started talking about needing to put up a barrier to protect against people doing this.
Right.
They considered a variety of different solutions, but in 1919, the bridge had not been kept up. It was very rusty. It was basically like you're on your own just crossing it, let
God.
alone jumping off of it. So they tore it down. But from 1892 or 94 through 1919, hundreds of people threw themselves off, and this was in the lagoon right on the other side of the zoo. So
Yeah.
Jeez.
the negative
So-
energy there is, I'm sure, terrible.
Right. Not only was the zoo and the park built over dead bodies, but you have that also
Right.
attracting negativity.
Woo.
Yeah.
Well, why don't I throw in another fun fact?
Okay.
From the ridge?
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So this was December 13th, 1960. So Marlon Perkins, Perkin, I think he was at the time the new owner or guy in charge. But he went on an expedition to the Himalayas with Sir Edmund Hillary.
Oh,
Hoping to get a Yeti for the zoo.
awesome.
There was reports that somebody had a Yeti skull, so he thought he'd go investigate. All right, so this Sherpa guide claimed to have a scalp from a female Yeti that his ancestors got when they were drunk and then killed it.
Oh.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
story already sounds like his ancestors got drunk and they killed a Yeti.
Right.
Okay, sure they did.
You can't kill a Yeti sober.
But he had... exactly.
Why would you? Well, you wouldn't try if you were sober, I guess. Yeah.
Right.
It sounds like a title of a book. Can you kill a Yeti sober? But they had this supposable Yeti skull thingy analyzed, and was just it was fake. They had used like antelope hide and stuff.
Okay.
So he came back telling everybody Yeti doesn't exist.
Wait, he went to one mountain, and because of that, the Yeti doesn't exist?
I didn't say he was thorough in his investigation.
Quitter.
Yeah, what a quitter.
Jeez, do a little research, man. And it was the one Sherpa. He just went to the Sherpa's, like, his house. You know, knocked on the door and was like, "Hi, this is my buddy, Sir Ed. You know, we're just out here roaming around. So I hear you got a Yeti skull, huh? Tell us how that went."
You know, actually, let me look. As I look at this census, was all from like the Chicago Tribune back in the day. The Sherpa guy claimed to have the scalp from a female Yeti his ancestors got drunk, then killed.
Oh, so
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
partying.
yeah.
They were partying.
Right. So they...
The plot thickens.
That changes.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
the statement.
totally.
So now it's like they roofied the Yeti
Right.
and then killed it, is how the story actually, I guess, goes.
So did they? Okay, so here we go. So,
So how do you roofie a Yeti?
how do you roofie a Yeti? Two,
That's my new movie.
how do you get the
Very careful.
how do you get the Yeti to come over to jump on the hot tub so you can roofie the Yeti?
Well, no. I'm thinking. I mean, that would be awesome. But I'm thinking this is like if we go back to the whole the nature's the cosmic garbage collectors.
Yeah,
then
yeah.
you would just like lace garbage with something. That
Well, this goes back to that one theory that a listener had asked about where we used to kick it with Bigfoot. And he was wicked intelligent. We go hunting, but then somewhere along the lines we got jealous, killed, or did something to the Bigfoot. So maybe they were like, I am tired of this really smart Yeti.
right.
Yeah.
How they know it was a female?
Well, they were partying, apparently.
I just see a group of Yeti like hanging out. One's got a bikini on, and the other's got a mankini on, and they're just like, woohoo!
What's the Himalayas? How would you tell? Everybody's bundled up.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Right.
saying. How would you tell?
Well, apparently they found out.
God.
Could have been a really randy Yeti.
Here's more logistics that I need to know.
Yikes.
Take the fur off in the hot tub.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How do you know? You got to get close to some. Yeah. Anyway.
You took all the fun out of that.
Oh no.
Yeah. You got to make sure you read the headline properly. It really changes the context. Right. But yeah, I thought that was interesting.
How much alcohol do you think it takes for a Yeti to get drunk?
Oh, dude.
Yeti and
Couple
Bigfoot?
kegs.
I don't even think it would happen with beer. You'd have to have some like
Vodka. Or
vodka, or you'd have to have some kind of real alcohol to do it.
Moonshine.
Yeah, moonshine.
Wow. Holy moly.
Although, what if the Yeti is from Bigfoot, a extraterrestrial visitor that works on a different physiology than we are?
Okay.
So maybe they get drunk on a different material than alcohol.
They could have just been sitting around having glasses of goat milk or something like
Right.
that. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think that would be more plausible than being like, hey, I've got a fifth of vodka here. Charlene the Yeti, why don't you have some, huh? Huh?
Charlene?
Charlene. That's the Yeti's new name.
Okay.
In case that wasn't, you didn't see that in your research, but I think I had it in mine.
Okay.
I feel like we got an unsolved murder. So our next podcast, True Crime.
True crime.
True crime.
Where
Who
the-
killed the Yeti?
Who killed the Yeti?
And who's
where-
culpable?
Yeah.
Roofying it.
Oh boy.
Or did the Yetis did the Yetis invite the Sherpa over to their house for barbecue or something like that?
Right.
You know, and things got out of hand. I don't know. There's just so many questions.
I know. Well, go on the internet and look it up.
Liz, you want to bring us back?
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were going to keep going. In October, the zoo has a haunted history tour. That's $35 per person. I also saw there was a virtual tour, but I think that might have been a COVID-related thing. There's also a walking tour that appears to be year-round. And there are also other ghost tours in the area, including an audio tour of spots of Chicago that is free. So I think Chicago is a pretty haunted
Sounds like it.
place.
Yeah, it has to be. There's got to be a ton of stuff there.
Oh, yeah. Chicago had a lot of things.
Yeah.
But
Well, I have another fun fact. This is another true crime about the zoo.
Okay.
I think, Nash, this is right up your alley.
Okay.
So this happened on October 11th, 1982. Headline, Chimp Stolen.
Oh, God.
2 men, assisted by an animal keeper on leave from the zoo, took Eve, the 3-year-old chimpanzee, from her cage with the intention of selling her for money to buy narcotics.
What?
As you do.
All right, so she was next spotted in a car with them on South Lake Shore Drive near the Stevenson Expressway. Then tips started coming in saying Eve could be at a railroad yard near East Randolph Street, which prompted animal keepers and police armed with bananas to
my
search
God.
there for her. But no luck. Another tip led to a second-floor apartment on Archer Avenue, which housed one of the suspects. When police arrived, they found Eve and also discovered a mess that covered portions of the ceiling and the floor.
Oh, no.
Fed only bananas by her captors, Eve experienced gastrointestinal distress. That, coupled with her lack of toilet training, made for quite a mess.
Oh, God.
She was returned to the zoo after 4 days on the run and later shared a celebration feast of apples and cake.
Oh, my God.
Nice. That sounds, but that the first part of that sounded like the theme or the inspiration for Jane and the Silent Bob.
You think?
You know, when they're walking with
with Suzanne?
with
Right.
Suzanne. Yeah. I could just I kind of see that kind of happening.
Couldn't even imagine this guy stole this monkey. They're feeding it bananas because that's what they saw in cartoons. That's
Right.
what. And this thing is having that kind of explosion. It can get on the ceiling. I'm sure at some point they were like, "This was the worst decision of our lives." So I'm actually I'm quitting drugs right now.
That weed is not that good.
I don't know. I don't want to speak for all parents out there, but I'm pretty sure most parents have always thought, like, if somebody kidnaps my kid, they're going to turn around and bring the kid back because of the kid being like that. And I feel like this is the actual thing of that. Like, they're like, what did we do? Why did we do this? Oh, my God, we should just take the monkey back. Like,
Yeah, I'm sure they were like, "How do we take the monkey back and not get arrested?"
Right.
So
I'm sure at some point they're like, "Just let them arrest us."
yeah.
Was it at their apartment?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Not for the landlord.
No.
Well, no.
The guy who
I
owns
know.
the place would be like, "Oh, great."
They get in there just desserts. You know, they steal this chimp, and all of a sudden there's crap everywhere. That's fantastic.
Yes, yes. Eve did get the last laugh
Yeah.
on those guys.
Wow.
Wow. That's awesome.
wonder-
I think the landlord did because he had to do they didn't get their security deposit back.
Well, no, they
Their
definitely
cleaning
did not get
deposit.
there.
Yeah.
I wonder in 1982, narcotics, 80s, probably cocaine.
Yeah.
But how much would a chimp go for? I mean, what were they even thinking? Now their heads are fueled with drugs.
Right.
They weren't thinking. But how much?
I don't know.
How much does an 8-ball
Hold
of
on.
coke go for when you're?
Right.
Let me do a search for this. How much can I sell a chimp for?
You better do that incognito.
I was going to say, these are the kinds of things you don't search for or talk about.
It's another thing for NSA to have
Right.
on the list about you.
I just put how much is a chimp, and
All right.
Now you're on a different
now I'm on a list.
Siri, how much is a chimp?
So it says upwards of $60,000.
Ooh,
Wow.
that's today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so bad. Probably still a lot in 1982.
Yeah.
That's a lot of coke.
Yeah, they were going for a whole Scarface situation.
Yeah.
Wow. 60 grand. Well, 60 grand now in 82 was probably like 20, maybe 30.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's what I do.
That's right.
Look it up, Dave.
To the computer.
Yeah.
But still, regardless, you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna score this. This is all right. I wonder if they took the chimp to sell to sell and get the money for the drugs for whatever, and possibly because they would. I'm thinking that they would already have like a buyer ahead of time.
Okay, yeah, lined it up. That's why they
Yeah.
had the zookeeper that was on leave. They worked his plan out. They had a buyer.
They had a buyer, and then they got it home, and either they just didn't fall through with it. That they were like, because selling a chimp, even if your house is covered in chimp poo, the buyer would have still taken it. Do you know? I'm wondering if they or they were just meatheads and didn't plan it all the way through. What'd you come up with, Dave?
So, what would we say? 60,000
Yep.
today would be about 20,000 in 82.
That's still a lot of cocaine.
That's a lot
Yeah.
of cocaine.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't, not that I know the prices back then, but it sounds like a boatload of cocaine.
Right.
I'm just wondering if they took it home, saw its personality, kind of fell in love, and they're like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this.
No,
Then and kept
Right.
feeding it bananas, and yeah.
I'm sure they were like, we probably should have went with Plan B, just rob the bank.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, so this zoo not only has a heck of a history, paranormal activity, but also just has weird, strange stories
Right.
about animals escaping, being stolen. This is like a place I feel like I want to visit.
Yeah.
Got to watch out for the negative energy ball floating around, though.
True.
True.
I wonder if that's what captured Dr. Fisher. What kind of mimicked his voice or captured something from him.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, I don't know. Because I can imagine with that many suicides and that much death. I don't know.
So you're thinking like a predator type thing?
Yeah.
Like where you're hanging around and you catch the thing talking to you in Dr. Fisher's voice with saying something he said before?
Possibly, or like the Dementors, how they would steal a bit of your soul when they would come around, like that negative energy ball is kind of floating around just aimlessly, you know, and it comes across
Just doing
somebody-
impressions of people that worked at the zoo.
just kind of taking pieces from people as it comes by them as they're feeling sick. They kind of steals a bit of a piece from them.
I don't know, Nash.
Yeah, I don't know.
What I do know is we should take a break, and we'll be back with a UFO story out of Brazil sent to us by our good buddy Art Designs 305. And we're back. All right. So Art Designs 305, Alberto, he sent us a UFO story. Now, he said he wanted to represent his South American culture, and he thought that there was a lot of stories and reports down there that don't get talked about a lot. So he thought he would send us one of these stories. So he did the research. He compiled a nice little story, and we're going to go through it here. And Alberto, thank you. I'll do my best at some of the pronunciations. That he did give
Which
little,
means they'll be wrong.
yeah, we did give a little helpers here, but I'll still mess it up. But this is called the Varginha UFO Incident. Varginha, but the pronunciation thing is Varginhaa. Varginha. Right?
Yes.
UFO incident. You
Yeah.
know what? It's also called the Roswell of Brazil.
Okay.
So, and this got reported in the Wall Street Journal back in 1996. Also, a lot of local Brazilian news picked this up. So it was a big deal. So Alberto gives us some fun facts. So this took place down in southeast Brazil, mostly industrial city. Major companies like Samsung and Steam Master are there. Major coffee production takes place there. And this is the part of Brazil that is not covered with trees.
Okay.
Has force.
Because it's mostly
'Cause it's a city.
industrial. It's city, it's industrial.
Language mostly spoken, Portuguese. Popular food is picanha. Picanha. It's like a big steak buffet, he says.
Oh,
Awesome.
God.
Sounds
Who doesn't
amazing.
love a steak buffet?
A popular drink is caipirinha. Caipirina with pronunciation of caipirinha. Caipirinha. You know, hey, all our friends in Brazil, look, doing the best I can. No disrespect meant, but it's a drink made with, we'll soon be done with these pronunciations, made with cachaça, which is a distilled spirit made from sugarcane juice, and then you add some lime and sugar.
Okay.
So, cachaça.
I'm thinking that when we get this just kind of put the idea in my head, but when we get stories of people or stories from a different continent, different language, maybe they should do a little snippet, a little audio recording so they could send it with us. You know what I mean? So that we don't sound.
I feel like what are you trying to
awesome.
say, Nash?
You're doing great. You're doing great. You're doing great. No, Mark, you're doing great.
You try it.
I don't have a computer. I'm sorry. I can't try.
Anyway, so this happened back in 1996. These three girls were walking home, ages 14 to 21. So they decided to take a shortcut through a vacant parking lot and had a close encounter with a creature described as about 4 feet tall, with brown, oily skin, a large head, and huge red eyes.
Okay.
When it was spotted, the creature ran away in a wobbly manner.
What?
The two of the kids, Lillian and Vargira, came back to the area later, and the area smelled like ammonia.
Okay.
That's weird.
A few days later, another creature was allegedly found on the side of a road and picked up by 3 military vehicles.
This one was wearing a skirt and like, hey guys.
No. In the
Different kind of pickup. Sorry.
Right. Yeah.
In the end, 2 creatures were captured, and local military policeman Marco Charis died under mysterious circumstances after allegedly handling one of the creatures.
Okay.
So through gossip and other events, such as gathering of military troops around the base, commotion at a hospital, and the town came to the conclusion, like, it must be aliens. So other eyewitnesses talked about a cigar-shaped spacecraft, and that other creatures were found in areas like the local zoo.
Oh, jeez.
This is a variety of creatures.
No, still all that same
Still the
4
same.
foot,
Okay. Gotcha.
Oily.
brown oily skin, big head with red eyes.
Okay.
That wobbles when he runs.
Right. Well, honestly, I think we just talked about the reason for that. There were Sherpas that were giving these things alcohol to get them drunk.
So you think,
Sherpas are like all around the world saving us from extraterrestrials.
getting them drunk and then doing
It's
what?
like a secret society.
Right, yeah.
Oh,
Look, if there's going to be a secret society where you get aliens drunk, I think that should be what our society.
Right, yeah.
We're the party police.
Yes. Yep.
the secret society of Sherpas. I wonder if,
No, we're still working on how to call our secret society crap. We got some good acronyms from listeners. I just haven't figured out which one. I sketched out the symbol for the exclusive membership T-shirt and badge. Just got to. What is CRAP?
Yeah.
But a lot of good stuff came in.
I did look up while we were talking, is ammonia, how toxic is ammonia? And it says, heck yeah, it is super toxic. Exposure to high concentrations of ammonia in the air causes, of course, burning of eyes, nose and throat, and respiratory tract, and can result in blindness, lung damage, or death.
Ooh.
So,
And
yeah.
you never want to mix ammonia and chloride.
Doesn't that make a
Chlorine.
bomb or something?
Well, it makes a gas that will kill you.
A gas bomb.
Yeah.
How do you know?
You never use chlorine to clean your toilet. because ammonia is in urine.
Yeah.
And if you have a high concentration of urine and you mix chlorine with it, you'll release the chlorine gas that will cause problems.
Well, I feel like we're usually cleaning the toilet when there's nothing.
Right.
You
What
know
about
what
all
I
the
mean?
kids peeing in public pools?
Oh, God.
That's a good question. Maybe just a level of dilution from the water. I don't know. Or the chlorine concentration isn't super high.
Yeah, I was making a joke.
I don't know. That's wild.
That is wild. So what's your point?
That tracks with the army guy who was making out with a dressed up alien. That from close handling of the alien and being in proximity of it for so long is toxic and can kill him.
Okay.
That tracks.
Now, after this incident, UFOs, it became a big thing, even sparking like tourism. So there are a lot of shops in this town where you can buy UFO stuff. They have like bus, bus stops shaped like UFOs.
Oh, that's cool.
They have a water tower they built with a shape of a UFO. So they really embraced these aliens landed there, which that's super cool.
I know.
They got into it.
Right.
And there's going to be a movie made about this coming in February 2022. So I'll be looking for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting. Alberto, thank you for sending us.
It was the image of
Stupid beer.
You made it through the story.
You
You
did really good.
Yeah.
Alberto, thank you for sending us this little story. And hey, please send us some more from South America, because
Yeah,
I can tell you right
definitely.
now, I haven't heard a lot, or maybe our research is always taking us to areas we know. 'Cause we're always thinking about visiting these areas.
Right.
So this would expose us to a lot more, and that's super cool.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, do you have a story you want to share with us? Just go to paranormalpunchers.com. You'll find all the ways to contact us. We would love to hear your paranormal experiences. Even if you, like Alberto here, if you got a paranormal story you think we just got to talk about, send it to us. We would love to hear from you. All right. So what did we learn today?
Learn is such a strong word.
Well, if you're gonna steal a chimp, have the plan already set up.
Diapers.
You got to use diapers.
Well, I mean, yes, but also don't feed a chimp
Just
only bananas.
Right. Does the same effect on humans as it does on chimps. Definitely.
And in today's market, a chimp sells for $60,000. Right? Mm-hmm. And how did you figure out how much cocaine that'll buy?
I did not look that up. I don't need that.
Can I borrow your computer to look that up?
No. The the Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago has a lot of paranormal activity, and I feel they embrace it because they have ghost tours. They have some things they do around Halloween. So go check it out.
Yeah.
What else did we learn today?
You probably shouldn't build anything or put anything over a burial ground.
Right.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Well, and they built that. They built that way before Poltergeist came out. So
True.
they were just like, in the planning and zoning, they're like, they're not going to get upset. I mean, they're not going to complain.
No, I think it's interesting that they keep finding bodies. They're just like,
I like the guy, if they found bodies, like, just put it back. We'll build the barn over top of it.
Yeah.
Nobody will ever know.
right.
I still want to know what happened to that pile of bodies that went missing.
I know.
Right. Right. Yeah. Where did the bodies go?
That's a mystery.
Yeah. I wanted the article to give me more information because I was just like, I just opened a jar of questions
Right.
and I don't even know where to find the answers. So.
Right. And how do they ship them? I mean, they have to. Did they do it in the winter so the body stayed cold? Or who knows? Because if you got a giant, but then the fire happened that same day. Oh, the odor. Ugh, forget it. Oh, that's a bad day to be a zoo employee.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Oh, it smells.
Yeah. I guess.
I'm sure that's all they were concerned about.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't mention this before, but a lot of the gravestones were not stones. They were made out of wood.
Oh, okay.
So there were some issues because the fire, it was mainly in the city, but it did get out to the cemetery, and it burnt some of the stuff there. But
Wow.
yeah,
One final thought. I said it earlier, and now I'm going to extrapolate on it. So we haven't heard of any animal hauntings because, well, you're in a zoo. You're expecting animals. You wouldn't know if it's, unless you saw something spectacular, you wouldn't
Right.
realize it's a ghost
Right.
cat or not. But same thing goes with the people. This is
There's so many people there.
free zoo that everybody's walking around looking at the animals. How would you know if the person beside you is a ghost or not?
Well-
like how many hauntings are going on that that
no,
nobody
you're
even
right.
acknowledges? And
a lot of the ones that are seen and they realize that they're a ghost, it's because they're wearing weird clothes or
and
whatever.
I feel like in this day and age, you're either looking at the animals or you're on your phone. You
Right.
wouldn't notice somebody in a Victorian dress beside you.
Right.
Like if I went to
You know how
this place,
frustrating that must be for the ghost,
right?
too?
Yeah,
Right.
Like,
That's why they're photobombing.
Here I am.
That's why they're doing it.
Yeah. Like I feel like I would love to go visit this place. I've always wanted to get to Chicago anyways, but this sounds like a really cool place to go in Chicago.
Right.
And on top of it, like, okay, yeah, I want to see the animals, but while I'm watching the animals, make sure I'm looking around and look for those telltales of otherworldly things.
And bring your sack of pebbles.
No.
Little teeny tiny pebbles. Not big ones, just little teeny tiny ones.
And so we also learned that none of us are going into the zoo with Nash.
Right.
Because he's throwing poop and pebbles. Right. Maybe not in that order, but
At some time in that day, yes.
I'll be there to film, so I have a documentary of what it takes to get arrested at the zoo.
And as he's being carted away, he's like, I swear there are bodies underneath that barn right there. You didn't arrest them.
You know how crazy you would sound?
You know, for those listeners who are on Patreon, they've heard you try to get through airport security.
Yeah, that's true.
So-
That's true. That's true.
You with the zoo police would not be.
Oh, they're not
Would
real
not go
police,
over
though.
well.
They're just zoo police. They're not real police.
There you go. You've already set yourself up.
Oh, I imagine if Nash goes to the airport, the computer says bing. Yeah, he's already flagged. Nope, no flying.
It's weird, but his flag was originated at the zoo. That's just really odd. I didn't know that worked that way. I didn't know that the TSA and the zoo police are connected somehow.
It's all connected.
That's right.
You know, we also learned that we need to research what it takes to get a Yeti drunk.
Right, yes.
And can Nash brew said beer?
That's right.
What would that be? 25.5%.
Right, it'd be massive.
There's a way to do it. I mean, you need to brew the beer, and then you have to freeze the batch after it's fermented. Then once it's frozen, all the water freezes, but the alcohol doesn't. Then you drill a hole through the ice, you drain it, and you keep doing the same process. Keep re-fermenting, start fermenting up again, and then you can kick up to about 20-25%.
Jeez.
So we wouldn't be able to drink the beer
Right.
designed for a Yeti.
Kind of like Thor had that little
Yeah,
bottle
right, yeah.
of whiskey or something only
Yeah.
for gods
Yep.
can drink it. Excelsior.
That's right. And then the other bit of info that we need to figure out is how do you tell if a Yeti is a male or a female without getting
Oh boy.
that creature
Arrested?
Yeah.
that creature drunk.
Or that close.
Yeah, or that close.
Right.
I have a feeling it's kind of evident.
Most likely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you're close enough proximity, you'd be like, oh, yes, I clearly see it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was hoping for the lady Yeti and not the guy Yeti, but whatever you.
But if you don't see, then you can extrapolate.
I wonder if they're larger or smaller, like in nature. Sometimes the female is the larger creature, and the male is a smaller creature. I wonder if that's true of Yetis.
I don't know.
Yeti physiology
If only we could find one to start this.
to get her drunk and then figure it out and question.
I was just going with the scientific.
Okay.
Observe. But okay.
Well, either way.
Well, I guess we need to plan the trip to the Himalayas
That's right.
on our scientific.
Oh, no, there's no Yetis in the Himalayas. What's his name established that? We have to go to a different mountain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, doesn't sound like he tried too hard to find a Yeti.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gave up almost immediately.
He just went to that one guy's house.
Right, heard the story and went home.
Yeah. He just map quested directly to his house, showed up, knocked on the door. Hi, do you have a skull?
Yep,
Do you have a Yeti skull?
and that's how it happened in history.
No, but I have a lot of booze that we got drunk that
I
day.
think I have a skull.
It's in here somewhere.
Well, all right. We covered everything. We learned something today, I think. I hope you did too.
And if you're in Brazil and you see a UFO on the side of the road in like a polka dot dress and heels with glasses and big red lipstick, it's not Marilyn Monroe. Just keep driving by. Don't pick her up.
That's words to live by.
Yep. Yep.
For some reason, I thought you were going to try to squeeze in a Brazilian wax joke somehow.
Wow. No, I was not.
Okay. I'm sorry. I just assumed.
I'm covered in hair. I can't squeeze in a Brazilian wax.
It would hurt too much.
It would be incredibly painful. On that note,
Cue the music. Womp, womp, womp. All right. That's it, everybody. We're out. Thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for hanging with us. And we'll talk to you very soon. And remember, if it's not weird,
It's not worth checking out.